Burnt out, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, all of the above, just tired. This is what you should do. Hey guys, welcome to Ticks and Meshki, where we try to turn our hindsight into your foresight. Forgive the upbeat intro, but I assume that's the kind of energy you're trying to get to. Assuming you clicked on this because you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling burnt out, tired, breaking down, can't handle the stress, all of the above, and I'm coming at this particularly in a sense of that a lot of things are going on in your life, or you're battling with dealing with all the things that you're handling and going through in your life. Now obviously myself personally, again, my name is Ugo, this is Ticks and Meshki, where we try to turn our hindsight into your foresight. But me myself, I'm involved in a lot of different things in my life, and obviously regardless of how the quantity of stuff that you have in your life, you will get to a point at some point where you just feel like you don't have the energy to keep going, where everything feels overwhelmed and you just break down, you just burn out, you feel overwhelmed and you're just stuck. You just don't know how to go. This could be a uni where you have loads of deadlines coming. This could be at work where you have loads of deadlines. This could be that you have a mixture of personal stuff that you're dealing with, work stuff, deadlines, goals that you're trying to achieve. Things are not just going well for you. There's a lot of things happening at once, and the compounding effect really and truly stresses us out and makes it a terrible situation for us to go and be in, because you find yourself in the cycle of, I'm trying to do something but I don't have the energy to do it, but then I'm getting stressed out because I'm not doing it, and then it just kind of compounds and you're in this circle that you don't even have the energy. It's beyond procrastination, it's just you're stressed, you're tired, and sometimes you're pushing through, you're trying to push through it, but again you see no progress. And so if you get into this mode and you're feeling like this, there's 3 things that you should do to try and get out of it. We'll go straight into it because that's what you're here for. So 1, this is going to sound like a simple thing that seems like it's a no-brainer, but no, this is very serious. The first thing you should do is just take a break. Honestly, just take a break regardless of what you're doing. So even if it's your uni work, you have a deadline tomorrow, Einstein would say that if he had an hour to solve a problem, he would use 59 minutes to figure out how to solve the problem and a minute to do it. So you don't necessarily need the whole time you have now, to bang out your work, because ultimately you're looking for quality over quantity. And if you're also stressed and you don't have your cup's empty, you have nothing to pour into it. So ultimately, taking a break, go do something random, go out for a walk, something to distract you from what you're doing. This is not procrastinating, this is incorporating breaks into what you're doing, and actually just take a break, take a step back. If it's at work, communicate to your manager and just say, listen, I'll just take a day of annual leave and just take a break from it, away from it. Because once you're so entrenched into it, you're so drained, but you're still pushing on and you're not actually getting anywhere. So honestly, taking a break is probably one of the first things you should do when you identify that you're so stressed and identify that you're overwhelmed in all the things you're dealing with. Because once you take a break, then you allow yourself to come back in fresh eyes. When you burn out, whether that's mentally or emotionally, a good thing about a break is that a break doesn't solve your problems. First and foremost, a break will never solve your problems, but a break will give you the time to get the energy and the breath of fresh air to come back to deal with the problems that you have at hand. So take a break is the first thing you should do, regardless of whether it's a mental issue, a mental breakdown, or whatever, emotional, physical, financial, whatever it is. Take a break, breathe. We're not really good when we're rash on our decisions and we're just going head first. So take a break regardless. Now 2, the second thing you should do when you're now burnt out, and especially in this case where you're overwhelmed, normally people get to this stage when a lot of things are happening, or there's a compounding effect of loads of different things happening in their life that just meant them, boom, they've shut off. Now, obviously personally, I've been overwhelmed a couple of times in my life, a couple of times this year, a couple of times last year, once. But this one technique definitely has helped me and has helped a lot of different people that I've advised on this same thing, and hopefully it helps you. So let me know if this works for you, for the multitude of times that it will definitely happen to you in the future. If it hasn't happened, it's definitely happened to you as of now, but this should help you deal with it better. Now 2 is you take a piece of paper and you write down on a list on a line by line basis all the individual things that are stressing you out. Now, don't let them be big. You know, for example, if it's, don't just write 2 reports, write report 1, report 2, you know, and then basically write down everything. You take a sheet of paper, you write down everything that's stressing you out in your life, you know, that has made you get to the stage you're in. So is it personal, family, relationship, financial, work, uni, maybe you're volunteering, maybe it's things that you had planned, problems, health issues, all the things, write them all down. Write them down in a list basis. You know, again, if it's a report, break it down. If it's like work, you know, okay, for example, me at one time chartership, it's like, okay, cool, chartership, quarterly reports, uploading, cool, meeting with manager. Break it down into the individual tasks, cool. Now take that list, divide that list now into 2 things. You want the list that of things you can control and the things you can't control, okay? So the list of things that you can control, put them here. Then the list of things you can't control, put them here. So for example, if somebody is actually stressing you out, and then that's one of the things, that's another human being. You can't control that. You can influence it, but you can't control them. If you got you know, if it's relationships or something like that, if it's financials, you know, to some extent, depending on what it is, you can or you cannot control it. Cool. So the things you can control, you can't control. If it's like you have deadlines, for example, you can do this in terms of priority. You can divide this list in terms of, after doing it in terms of control and the things you don't have any control over. In terms of direct control, you have the ones you can control and the ones you can't control. Your health issues, you know, to some extent, you can now break that down if it's health issues to, okay, there's areas of it I can't control. It's just that it's stressing me out. It's here. Now, the stuff that I can control is maybe going to see the doctor or whatever. So make it really tangible and flesh out more if you need to. Now, in terms of the things you can control, now rewrite that list in terms of priorities. In terms of, let's say, for example, if you have a loads of reports, cool, yes, you have 5 reports. Stop looking at it as like you have 5 reports. Okay, put down the list into the 5 reports, put down the deadlines for each of those reports, and then put that into different lines. And then once you've done that, what you now want to do is that now you have this list. So you have a list of things you can't control and the things you can control. Now we want to focus on the thing on the list over here, the things you can control. So the things you can control, now what you want to do now is that one by one, don't change the list. One by one now, you want to start ticking things off the list. You want to start ticking things off the list and you go them one by one. Yeah. So you've taken a break and now you've come back to kind of deal with it on a sequential basis, because our brain is a funny one. So obviously when we're anxious or feeling a bit depressed within these situations, then it's about us basically managing our emotions. And so when you have that list now, it's almost like if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, this is almost like the snowball method of dealing with your debt. But basically, you put a list of this and the things you can control, and you realign the list based on priority and the easiest ones to do. So these are priorities, and then these are the easiest ones to do. Then now you want to start knocking them off. You need to start knocking them off one by one, slowly but surely. Now, if you've taken a break, it allows you the time to reassess this. So one by one, start knocking off the things, start knocking them off, start knocking them off. And the benefit of this, and don't change the list, because there's a psychological benefit that it gives you, that now, okay, it looks like you had 20 things and now you're down to 4. Now you're down to 5. And personally, I've had to use this a couple of times, well, last year as well, that, okay, I had a lot of the things different stressing me. And then now I deal with, okay, the things that I can control. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. These are the easy quick wins. Quick wins, especially if you have quick wins, put them on there, because now you have a list of 20. Now you start crossing things off. Then you get this little buzz of, wow, okay. Because your issues are compounding, they look so big. And they look so big, but once you put them down to paper, you realize, okay, it's so big in your head because it's all in your head, and all the 10, 20 issues that sound like 50 issues in your head, you put them down to paper, and then you can start dealing them one by one. Now, once you've dealt with the things you can control, and again, this is just like a brief list, somewhat anyway, but because we can go into more detail about how you actually use this technique better. But if you want to know more, hit it in the comments and I'll make a follow-up video, especially on this number 2, on how to use this even more effectively. But then once you start dealing with the things that you control, you will realize that now you've given yourself more mental space to now deal with the things you can't control. So now you will see yourself slowly but surely getting back. Because some of us, we see ourselves, we're so stressed, we look ourselves in the mirror asking what's wrong. We can't even figure out what's wrong. Like, you ever wake up in the morning, it's like, rah, I'm not good, you know. Like, I look at the way I'm eating, I look at the way I'm sleeping, you know, because you can really evaluate if you're stressed based on your appetite to eat, the quality of your sleep, your performance at work, or just in things that you were typically passionate about, and just all of the above. So people think that they need to get to, oh, my days I'm breaking down to realize they're stressed. No, a lot of us are functional within our stress, functional within our breakdowns. In fact, some of us don't realize we've broken down until we get to the end of the breakdown. So this list method allows you to deal with the things you can control. Now you have mental capacity and mental space to deal with the things you can't control. And when you come to the things you can't control, now you need to understand, because when you come to things you can control, this comes into time management and how you work around that. When the things come you can't control, whereas people, other things, finances, all those kind of things, in terms of the limitations of what you can control, then now you need to think about alternative problem solving solutions to this problem. So whether it be, how do I influence this person? How do I talk to this person? Do I need to change my environment? Do I need to leave this situation? Do I need to block this out for a little bit before I can come back to deal with it? Because ultimately blocking isn't the most effective way to deal with your problems, because they're still there. You're just going to come back afterwards. But you look at the things you can't physically control. Now, if it's your health, okay, what can I do in terms of my diet, in terms of exercise, in terms of therapy, all of those things. So it feels like you can't control these ones. But again, these ones you may be able to control, but depending on like priority. For example, if you have a report that's due this coming Sunday or whatever, or Wednesday or whatever, then you might want to deal with that first and get that out of the way. And then now you have the mental capacity to now say, okay, let me book a couple of therapy sessions. Let me go and talk to this person. Let me tell this person I didn't like this. Let me try and find another job to try and make more money. Maybe I need to ask for, get a grant, get a loan, whatever it may be. So these are the things you can't control. So that's number 2. And the third one, to try and keep this thing somewhat brief, but ultimately I don't know what the time of this thing is going to be at the end. But yeah, hopefully this is helping so far, and hopefully you're coming towards a point of you understanding that you can be stressed, cool, but you're going to get out of it. Hence the idea, boom, boom, boom. And the third thing, which you should do, which a lot of us don't like to do, and especially people who like helping people don't do this a lot. People who are normally outward going, and so when it comes to this third one, it's regardless of whether you're an introvert or extrovert, both of you characteristics have reasons why you don't do this certain thing that I'm going to mention. So this is something you must do for your own benefit. There's no weakness in doing this, and in your self-reliance, there's weakness in completely being self-reliant, because as human beings, we're codependent. That's the reason why we all want for our relationships, and the quality of our relationships, whether that's family, friends, or otherwise, do affect us personally, because we're codependent creatures, essentially. And the third thing is, ask for help. Ask for help. And just let people know that there is a problem, because you have to understand, when you're going through stuff, a lot of the times it feels like no one cares, but most times nobody knows that there's a problem for them to now dedicate some mental energy or emotional capacity towards you to even care. And so you'll be surprised who will be able to help you out when you now say, okay, I am stressed, I am not doing so well right now, I need help. And you'd be surprised at people who come and help you out. So asking for help, a lot of us don't like to ask for help, because a lot of people tell me, oh, if I share my problem, what difference would that make? Well, you're dealing with it on your own and you're breaking down. Oh, I don't see the benefit in doing that. Do it and find out whether there's a benefit, because again, you have to do something different than what you've already done to see a different result. And so a problem shared is always a problem halved, obviously provided you go to the right person. If you're stressed mentally, workload, you're overwhelmed in things in your life, if it's at work, talk to your manager. All managers are trained, well, in a good company, are trained to understand that, about stress, mental health, all those kind of things, and should accommodate you for that. Obviously, they won't let you go off for 2 months to go and recuperate, but they'll make mitigating circumstances. If it's at uni, extenuating circumstances, EC, personally, I've used it as well, because I needed EC at some point in time. There's no weakness in it. You pass your degree, but we all have limitations at times and need help. If it's in your friendships, whatever, relationships, ask for help. If it's a problem with mom, go talk to dad. If it's a problem with dad, go talk to mom. Go talk to uncle, auntie, ask for help. If you are stressed within your situation, especially when you feel trapped within your situation, you feel like there's nothing you can do, ask for help. Because if you don't ask for help, nobody will know that they need to help you. And trust me, I know, it's a very big step to actually be able to ask for help. It's a very big step, and it doesn't display weakness. There's a lot of strength in being able to say, listen, I hold my hands up. Because personally for me, I'm somebody that, you know, if problem come, I normally go at it head first, and most times sort it out. And for some people, you know, asking for help doesn't work because they've been disappointed when they've asked for help in the past, and so that can stop people from asking for help in the future. And again, don't let that deter you from still asking for help, because there's wisdom in asking for help. You know, it's one of those ones where I could carry this table on my ones, where if I brought somebody else, carrying this table will be easier. You know, last year I remember personally, there was a period of time I was hella stressed. And personally, doing these 3 things helped. I took a break, had to take the annual leave. I didn't know. I was staring at a Word document, nothing was happening. I had to write down everything. Like on the board behind me, you won't see it, it's below. And on the board over there, wrote down, it's still on there, wrote down everything, started slashing it out. It frees you up mentally, smile slowly starts coming back in your face. Even people start noticing, wow, Ugo, you're smiling now. Jesus Christ, I'm thinking, yeah, I am. And then the third one was asking for help. And that was the biggest one for me to, you know, they didn't necessarily come and solve the problems, but they gave me the space to be able to. And so you'd be surprised who'll be able to help you when you do ask for help. So it might be a random person. It might the person you think that will help you might not necessarily be the person you expect to help you, but you'll only be able to solve your problems if you vocalize it. Understand, none of us are mind readers, and you know, I'm hoping that this video somehow helps you get to have a brighter day, and understand that yeah, we're gonna be stressed, we're gonna be overwhelmed. In our generation, it's a different kettle of fish of issues that we've had to deal with compared to different ones in the past. But turning hindsight into foresight, we'll be able to live a more holistic and better life, and one that allows you that even though you may get to a point where you break down, you don't have to stay there. We can repair, woo woo, and then we're all doing good. So this has been Ticks and Measure Scheme. Again, take a break, write down the list, divide it into control, not control, start slashing down the list, free up mental space, ask for help, and do those 3 things. And trust me, you may have been broken down, overwhelmed, all that kind of stuff, but you start seeing differences very soon. So take care, guys. Take care of yourself, your health, and your wealth. Hit the subscribe button, comment below if this helps or whatnot. Share this to somebody that you feel like might be stressed out right now, and understand that, look, you can do this. You can really do this, and your situation is not impossible. But we just have to make some quick changes and things, especially in terms of how we manage our time to achieve it. But understand, take breaks. But yeah, Sha, take care, guys. Bye. You know, it's funny. I remember, like, in terms of when it comes into time management, like for example, when I go to uni, I used to incorporate breaks into my study time. So I used to do this basically. If I went to uni and I was revising for 8 hours, if I was there for 8 hours, I really revised 4 hours. It's a quality 4 hours, quality over the quantity. I incorporate breaks. I went for walks. I went on jog. You know, one thing that served me very well has been the 25-minute rule. So whatever task I have to dedicate minimum 25 minutes onto it, and then I can use the other 35 minutes for breaks. So it's about quality over quantity. And what I found is that when I did that, 25 minutes may come and go, and I'm in the mood, I'm in the zone, and then I will stop. I won't have that 35-minute break. I'll now carry that over into my next hour, which might be a second task or continuation of that task. And then what I found is that way is more, instead of my brain and my body has got enough breaks that allowed me to facilitate me working even harder in what I was doing. So the 25-minute rule was a good one to do. I guess this is like a little bonus, but sure. Have a nice day.